Yeah, you would be free. Do you feel the world crumbling at your feet?
All right, welcome back to the Loft. This is episode 9. Today I got my lovely sister on. What's up, Hale?
What's up?
How you feeling? You good?
I'm back like I left something. I'm back like I left something, people.
Lovely.
Nah, I'm glad to have you on. It's crazy because ever since me and Nick started the podcast, you guys have gotten really close.
Yeah,
which has been
for
really
sure.
Which has been really nice.
Way closer than we ever have been.
True. Yeah. So today I wanted to talk about self-love. Because everyone struggles with it one time or another, and I know, being my sister, I've seen some struggles you've had, and also you've seen some struggles I had. I think this would be an important episode for me, and I think for you, because me and you, we haven't been close recently, and maybe here on the podcast we can kind of rekindle that, relationship that we've sort of lost over the past month to a year. And honestly, you seem as happy as ever, and you seem like you're really ready to start your journey on, your self-love and your self-care and taking care of yourself and transforming your life and being the person that you've always wanted to be. So
It's definitely long overdue.
yeah. So I know you've dealt with a lot, and maybe later we can get into specifics. But I wanted to ask you, what steps have you taken recently?
Crazy because we live together,
Yeah.
and it's like we kind of know what's going on in our lives, but we don't at the same time.
Right.
But I haven't really been like committed to anything with myself. But the thing that I did was kind of try and cut out, I don't want to say toxic people, but like toxic people and
Right.
toxic situations that weren't good for my mental health. Because I can just sit and cry for hours just talking about it. It literally, my thoughts consume me. Like I used to say, I felt like I was in like a mental prison in my head, like just somewhere I could never get out of.
Right.
And I always felt like I don't think I'll ever get out of this.
Right.
And then also just trying to be grateful for what I have and the people I do surround myself with.
Right.
Like obviously you guys, me and Jen have been getting a lot closer.
Yeah.
Karen and Kayla, like my friends who bring out the best in me.
Right.
I just putting myself in better situations, going back
Yeah.
to school, trying to do what I love and just trying to find what I love again.
I mean, it's crazy how things work themselves out. Recently, I've seen that this is the best you've ever been in terms of like your confidence and your mental health. And like, it's been really nice for me to see and very important for me to see. And it kind of brings you back to when I wrote the song about you called Free that is coming out next week.
I was gonna say, when's that drop?
Coming out next week. I'm super excited.
What's the date? You got a date?
Next Friday. So it'll be, I believe it's the 19th. 19th.
Do you remember?
It's my brother's birthday.
Is it?
Shout out to Eddie. Yeah, that's my brother's birthday.
Shout out Eddie. Yeah, February 19th, the song comes out. Writing this song was very important to me, and I talked about it a little bit last week with Jed. And I remember you asked me to write you a song.
I was in a really bad place mentally, and I was like, even asking like my younger cousins, they mean the world to me. I was even asking them, like, just because everyone tells me how like great of a person I am, and they just give me all these compliments that I just can't take. There's a lot of compliments I can't take. Like I just don't think that way about myself. And hearing all these people saying great things about me, like leadership skills or just being a great person, a beautiful person, and just like all this stuff, I just don't believe it.
Right.
So when I hear people say it, I kind of just want to like understand, what do you see that I don't?
Right.
It's crazy how like people see things in you that you don't even like.
See in
We
yourself.
don't even see it in ourselves. Same thing happens
Right.
with me. Like someone will be like, "You're this, you're that," all these good qualities, and I don't see any of them.
Yeah.
It's like you're blinded to your own.
Yeah, and the biggest thing about self-love is accepting your strengths and also accepting your weaknesses too. So it's like if somebody tells you that you're something, if they give you a positive comment, embrace it and, start to believe that for yourself. You are your only self-advocate. That's something I learned. I actually saw it on Twitter, but, it's something that I learned recently.
And nobody's perfect. You
Right.
know, we're all on a journey. Every one of us.
Right.
Every one of us is writing a story, and like, there's gonna be setbacks. You're gonna take 10 steps, and then you're gonna take 5 steps backward, and it's
Right.
just like That's what I'm learning, man. It's just an everyday grind. Like it's just every day.
Right.
You got to work at it, you
Right.
know. Because if you get lazy with it, or if you think like, all right, I'm good now, life's just gonna come barreling at you, and then you're back at square one.
Right.
You know, you got to stay on top of it.
Right, and it's important for stuff like that to happen, though. You know, give you a little bit of a reality check, and help you realize the path you are taking, and then realize how to get yourself back to where you want to be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
For sure.
But yeah, it's like I said, it's so ironic. Like now, I feel like you're mentally like the most free I've ever seen you.
Oh,
and when I
definitely.
wrote the song for you, it was like you were in such a bad space. And like I remember writing it, I was like crying when I was writing it, because it's like every single lyric meant something to me, and it also knew that it correlated with you. And it's crazy how how fast it kind of flowed out of me. You know what I mean?
think that's the quickest you've ever written anything.
Right. And
How long ago did you write it?
back in November, I think.
November.
Was it
Sometime.
November?
Yeah.
And it's crazy.
I think it was around Thanksgiving.
Yeah, and I remember when I showed Haley for the first time, and she said, "Oh, this one part, like that's my favorite part." Yeah.
So then, in like the last few months, you've really seen the change in her.
Yeah.
Then.
And it's
last
just
3 months or so.
Right. Yeah, and it's just ironic that now, like, the song talks about like being free mentally. If you're not free, you know, you're not free until you love yourself and know what you want to be. You know, it's not about what you want, but what you need. And it's just crazy because now the song is coming out, and I feel like you're in such a good place mentally. And it's not even like this was planned. Like you can't plan, obviously. Your mental
No,
health,
it definitely was
but it's just
not.
weird because
Definitely wasn't.
like with the websites and stuff like that, like everything kind of starting to come together now.
Yeah.
And now we didn't even, like during that time we didn't even have a podcast.
No, I was just about to say it's all like perfect timing.
Divine timing.
We didn't plan a podcast. I don't know when we started that. It was what? It was after
months ago?
Christmas. It was
2 months ago, probably.
or no,
right?
it was before Christmas because we did the one with Bryn like the couple days
yep.
before Christmas.
Yeah, it was a few weeks before Christmas.
It was December. It was like the beginning
Early-
of December,
yep.
I guess.
Yeah.
So when you wrote that, you had no idea we were going to ever be doing this.
No.
You know,
And it's just crazy how life goes.
and it's
full
only been
circle.
3 months. Look at all that's happened in such a short amount of time.
I feel like you have such a story, and I feel like you have such a truth that you want to speak, and that you have inside of you, because you've been through a lot. Like personally for me, I've seen you've been through a lot with like doubting yourself and not loving yourself, and it's been like, as your brother, it's been like one of the hardest things for me to see, because you know, at the end of the day, like, yeah, there's times where I won't see you, but I also will feel your pain. Like, you're my twin sister at the end of the day. Like, I'm going to feel your pain too. You know what I mean? So, like...
Is it appropriate if I cry?
It's okay.
Because I might.
It's completely
It's okay.
Okay.
All emotions here are welcome in the law.
Yeah. Let me ask you, what do you already love about yourself?
I love I just think I have a great personality. I'm very open. I'm very approachable. Like, I will literally tell any of my friends or even people I don't know who I see struggling, just like, if you ever need anyone, I'm there. I don't care if I don't know you. I
You
will.
just messaged me that like a couple days ago. Remember?
Yeah.
Yeah.
With the one video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, isn't it?
I literally messaged him. I told him, like, if you just need a shoulder to cry on or someone to vent to, like, I will just be that ear to listen. Like, I'm here for you.
Like, I remember my friend Riley, shout out to Riley, amazing person. She, we were talking about you the other day when we were hanging out, and like, she was like asking you for you to come around and when you're coming out again, because like when you're out and you're hanging out with all of us, like you're a good energy to have around. You know what I'm saying? So, but I just wanted to ask you that because what else? Is there anything else, like, because I know it's so important to understand who you are, what you are, and what you love about yourself before you're able to love another person too. You know.
Yeah, it's definitely true. I think just being the empathetic person I am too. I just think a lot of my great qualities are me wanting to help people.
Right.
Because even since I was a kid, like, do you remember the 2 dreams I had when I was a kid growing up? The 2 things I wanted to be the most. Do you remember?
No, that was so long
I
ago.
wanted to be a nurse because of mom. I wanted to be in the WNBA.
Yeah.
Obviously, that never happened.
We were a shooter.
We saw how that
That
happened.
almost came to fruition.
Until I got hurt, but we won't talk. We won't talk about that yet. But just always wanting to help people since I was a kid, and I think that's just a great quality. I feel like a lot of people don't have that much anymore. Like, I think it's hard to find people with compassion, and I take a lot of pride in that because I feel like there's not a lot of people you can just go up to and just like say like, if you need me, I'm here.
Pour your heart out to. Yeah. From the people that I've been meeting recently, like, there are people out there, especially with COVID and reflection and stuff like that. There are people out there who want to help, and it's like it's all about having that outlet. You know what I mean? Like you open the door for somebody, they'll answer.
Yeah, sometimes you got to go to them, you know,
Right.
like sometimes you got to take the first step, and then you'll realize how many
Right.
people there are that are actually willing to help you.
Right. I wanted to ask, what have you been struggling with for people listening? I know it's a lot, but
Still the self-love piece, especially like body image issues, just feeling different than I look. Like I'll be going out, I'll think I look good or whatever. I'm confident in myself until I look at myself in a mirror. And that's definitely been the biggest thing I struggled with, my God, for years,
Right.
like since high school,
right.
probably since I was 16.
Right.
So like looking how I used to look in high school compared to now, and it's just like I just get very upset.
Right. Yeah,
I
know.
just don't feel like I know body images and everything, like be confident, you look at whatever. It's just like I said earlier, it's just so hard to believe it
Right.
because of the way my mind works. I just
Right.
can't.
Yeah.
Like no matter what anyone says to me, I believe they're full of crap.
Right. And I mean, you have to believe in yourself for other people to see it too.
Like I believe in my other abilities, but the most that I struggle with is body image. Like I know I'm a good person. I know I have a good work ethic. I strive to be a good person every day.
Right.
But the feeling good and looking good are just
Yeah.
they don't correlate to
And
me.
I know a lot of people struggle with that.
I know a lot of girls and guys do struggle with that
Right.
too.
Right.
I hate to beat the dead horse here, but comparison, dude.
Yeah.
Do you find yourself comparing yourself and stuff like that to
All the time when I'm out,
That's
I'm like,
what I mean. Like it's.
But there's that person that's what I've been struggling with too, is like being okay being alone. I know we've talked about it. I don't know if I talked about it with you, but like
Yeah.
I haven't been alone in probably the last 8 years of my
A
life.
long time.
Like always had someone, rather like relationship wise, and
Right.
someone I can just go back to,
Right.
and someone who I thought would make me feel what I'm missing. But I slowly came to realize that that's not going to happen.
Right.
Like they can make you feel good all you want, but until you believe that doesn't matter.
Right. Exactly. And
such an important.
and I think you've
point.
seen that for years too, because how many times have you tried to find comfort in maybe another person or in, you know, maybe like a vice or something like that, and it's like you never realize you'll never realize that, you know, until you love yourself and until you find comfort in being alone, which is something that I've personally over the years have been able to find comfort in, because it allows you to know who you are, and it allows you to take a deep dive in yourself. You know what I mean? And when you're always trying to rely on another person to feel valid or to feel loved, you'll never feel fully loved, because being alone is the only way you can ever love yourself, in my opinion.
Yeah, I've literally, when I tell you, I've probably cried the last 2 weeks every night. I've cried the last 2 weeks every night. Like just being, it's not that I am alone, because I know I have the most supportive family and friends I could have. Like I'm so blessed to have that. But like I said, the thoughts that just come into my head, and it's just like, it just tears me down. It breaks me down. Like it's awful.
I think everyone to a certain degree goes through those that internal. Like that internal asshole in your head that's just constantly picking at you. Like same thing. We all do. Like there's always something about yourself you're not gonna like.
Yeah.
You know, and comparison is the thief of joy for sure.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like we all. That's one thing too. I think Paul, during our podcast with him, said it's something like, if you put everyone's problems out on a table, you would take your own back.
Right.
Meaning
absolutely.
like you don't know what someone else is thinking. You never do. Like, and we get so like caught up, I have it so bad. Like there's so many people that really have those. You're really not alone, because there's so many people out there that are thinking just like that.
Yeah.
But just to go back on the being alone thing, I mean, I think it's crucial. I think it's definitely something that everyone should at least get comfortable with, being alone, because if you stake all your joy in another person, or you know what happens when they take that away from you,
Got nothing.
You're giving them the power.
like what happens when they just decide one day, I don't want to be with you anymore or whatever, like, then that's it. You know, you got to build yourself up first.
It's the hardest part too, because I was in a relationship since I was 16 to 22, and then like 22 to just New Year's.
I think this is
So
very
I
important.
grew up like that.
Yeah, I think this is a very important time for you to really go in on yourself right now. Like, I think you need to.
Yeah, 100%.
I think you need to, like, just even if you're. I mean, there's always good to have friends around, but there's utility sometimes in just being literally alone, like literally completely like isolated. Like, you don't want to do it too much, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, you don't want to put yourself in a dark place, but at the same time, you're gonna need to have those times where maybe you cry or maybe you do feel alone, because that's where you start to realize that you just build comfort in yourself, and then the next relationship you're in or the next, you're hanging out with your friends, like, you'll know who you are at the end of the day.
Do you find yourself having like expectations too?
Like, in what aspect?
Like, do you put
of myself
like that, or do you put expectations on, like, I should be in a relationship, like all that stuff, like I should,
like, where you're at in life?
with your life? Yeah, do you find yourself putting expectations on things, or?
I mean, more with like myself, I don't really put expectations because I know myself and I know how I get. I try and do the self-care stuff and like take my medications that I'm supposed to be taking to help with my mental health and anxiety, depression, and everything. Right. I don't take them. I'm a big self-sabotager. Like, I just totally do it to myself. Like, I'll do so good. I'll be eating clean. I'll be working out. I'll be taking my meds, and I'll be feeling great. Like, the best I felt in a long time, and everyone can see it. And then a week later, my mind just, like, it snaps back to what it's comfortable with. Yeah. So, like, I don't really hold expectations on myself because I know myself that well. Like, I'm very self-aware. But I probably should be doing that. Like, having higher standards for myself and my friendships, my relationships. But I definitely do now.
I mean, why shouldn't you? You know?
Because I felt like I didn't deserve it. I didn't feel like I was worth it.
What happens is you don't want to take care of yourself because you don't, we don't like ourselves. So you're like, who would take care of, like, I don't like cursing on here, but who would take care of a piece of shit like me? That's what you start thinking. Right. I mean, I'm just being honest. Like, you gotta treat yourself like someone you're responsible of taking care of. Like, and that's a journey in and of itself. That could take years because you do things and you're like, man, I'm a real piece of crap, and then you're like, I don't deserve anything. I don't deserve.
What's funny? I was in therapy. Like, I go to therapy. It helps before the pandemic and stuff like that. And like I said, I'm very close with my younger cousins, especially the girls. I want them to grow up confident in themselves and feeling beautiful and just being smart, being good people. And I would tell my therapist, her name was Tina, I love her. I would tell her that, and she's like, you know what I want you to do? When, like, if they came up to you and said, I feel fat or I feel ugly or whatever, what would you tell them? And obviously I tell them, like, no, you're a beautiful person. Don't let anyone tell you. You're smart. You're whatever. And she was like, well, why don't you say that to yourself? So, like, think about it, like, kind of what you just said, like, what you say to other people, take your own advice, say that to yourself.
And people like you who like helping other people, a lot of times would rather take care of someone else more than even yourself.
That's the,
because you don't care. I don't care.
Like, you
I don't
care
feel like
more about
Yeah.
other people, literally. Yeah, I do. Hell, I know the feeling because I'm the same way. You literally care more about other people than you do about your own self.
Yeah.
Like, literally, like, you'll say yes to something just because you want to appease the person.
Make them happy.
Even when it makes you feel like shit. You'll still be like, yeah, I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
And you don't even want to.
Yeah.
It's crazy, dude. The mental is crazy.
And you spread yourself so thin that you have nothing to give to yourself.
It's draining. And like you said, you have to be very particular about who has access to you. To be honest with you,
not everyone deserves what I give or what any of us give.
And that goes for everybody listening to. Like, not everybody deserves your time and energy, and because listen, they're gonna ask for it. It's up to you to set the boundaries. So the boundaries is the biggest thing. That's
exactly what I haven't done, but I've more recently started to with expecting how I like my self-worth. It's not totally like up there yet, but like knowing what I deserve and what I'm worth, and I haven't been treated that way with multiple things, but like knowing I deserve better than what I've been given for how much I give out. I know we talked about this. We give so much and so much and don't receive anything. We run out. There's no one who gives us that energy back. And I run off of people's energy. Like, as you can tell how nervous I was before this podcast started. Now I'm just like flowing.
We're just flowing like water
Chilling,
right now.
chilling with the boys.
Yeah, you're chilling with the fellas
chill
tonight.
with the boys. Just like the vibes that people give, like I run off of those. So like if you don't give me anything, I'm not going to give you anything.
Right.
Literally, dude, bad energy these days literally drains my body physically. I feel physically exhausted, like I just fought 12 rounds with Mike Tyson. I need
Conor
like
McGregor.
7 days. I need like 7 days. Look at my shirt.
That's why I said that.
Yeah.
I need 7 days to recover. If I'm around somebody who's physically draining me, like it's insane how I feel. I'm like exhausted.
Yeah.
But we all like one thing I'm learning. We all have something to contribute, you know, and you got to be healthy in order to contribute it. You got to be physically and mentally healthy.
Absolutely.
They go hand in hand, bro. If
Absolutely.
you're not taking care of your physical self, you're gonna get physically ill. It's the same thing with mental. If you're not taking care of your mental self, you're gonna get mentally ill. They're just as important. And we all have something to contribute. I feel I have something to contribute to the world. Love, respect, being a solid role model, whatever it may be. But I feel I have something to contribute, and I need to be healthy to do it. Yeah. Just like you do, just like Kev does. Like, when you're not healthy, you're useless to everybody around you.
Yep.
And yourself.
And yourself. I'll start projecting my mood on my family, on my friends. Like, it's just not a good thing at all. Like, if you're unhealthy anywhere in your body, then you're not contributing what you could be.
I wanted to say from me personally, before we even open up or get deep or whatever, because I know there's things you wanted to talk about. I just want you to know how strong it is for you to even come on here and speak your truth and say whatever's on your mind. I hope people that are listening can understand and respect you for even coming on here and opening up, because I know this was hard for you. And I asked you, about a month ago if you wanted to come on, and you were pretty hesitant to come on, but just know it means a lot to me as your brother for you to come on here, because I know that a lot of people can listen to this and understand you, and you can become a real role model for people, because that's what I see in you, because you're such a giver and you're such a tender, loving person, with our cousins and with everyone around you, and everybody says the same exact thing about you, is how much they love you and how much you care about other people. So just know that I love you before if we get it.
Thank you.
if it gets anywhere.
And it means so much to me as your friend too.
As your brother, brother.
As your other brother that you came on here, because like Kev said, I really hope people can watch this and just respect the amount of courage it takes in the first place to even come on here and say these things for people to hear, because that just in and of itself takes so much courage, And
there's so much power in being vulnerable.
Yeah, there really is. Like, it's completely okay to be.
I know you brought up earlier body image and how much you were trying to change yours, how much you want to fix yours. I mean, if you can, for people listening, maybe who's going through the same things, maybe people can relate. What are some things you may have went through, or what are some stories you may have about that?
So I can start off from the beginning of all of it. Was when we were kids. I was always pretty much like overweight as a kid, but I was very, too. I was very active. I was playing basketball all the time. I was definitely like one of the better ones on every team I played on. And I thought I saw like a future in basketball for myself. It was my everything. I loved it. And that's who I identified myself as, which is something I still struggle with now, not having that in my life, but we can talk about that later.
Yeah.
But like just being overweight as a kid, getting bullied as a kid, just because of my weight. And like when Nick talked about comparing, I always compared myself to you. And I don't know if you know that or not.
No,
always,
really.
Even to this day, like always compared myself to you. Because we were twins. Like I feel like there's that perspective with people, like especially as kids, they see you being skinny and muscular, athletic or whatever.
I wasn't that muscular. Don't get me. I was legit.
Bag of bones. No, but like you were. So were you.
Don't give me that. Don't give me that much credit.
You both were very thin people, and I, even being as thin as I was at one point, I'm always going to be like thicker, athletic build. But like having us stand next to each other, they see you and then they see me. So it's like, what do they think about me? it's always in my mind was, how are people going to compare me to someone else? Or like a girl who's much thinner than me goes, oh my God, I feel so fat, like whatever. And I'm just like stop. Because if that's how you think you are, what do you think of me? Like always victimizing myself.
Right.
But like even freshman year of high school, I was still like a little overweight, playing basketball. I was getting good minutes on JV, but sophomore year came and I was the healthiest I've ever been. I was playing some varsity minutes. I was playing over seniors at that time, summer going into sophomore year. Like I remember playing at a summer league game, playing against seniors, being told, if I get the basketball, go down that court because it's getting you. Like just knowing how good I was, and other people saw it. And then still thinking I'm fat, I'm horrific, I'm ugly, all the negative stuff. I still feel that way now. And just never getting over that. And then I met my first boyfriend, and then I'm like, wow, someone who likes me for me. Like, holy crap, I never thought this would happen. You know that I always cry about it. And me and him got together. Things were fine. And then I got hurt doing a freaking Mikan drill. I rolled my ankle, a bone cracked, and then I was out for a while. And then I met him. I hung out with him all the time. I started eating a lot, like not a care in the world. Who's going to tell me no? He can't. So this is hard. So like that's where like my binging started. And I still struggle with that now. I gained a lot. I gained a lot of weight at that point.
You're making me cry.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Please don't make us all start crying. Because if we all start crying, then
I've never talked about this, even like, you, because we just got close, obviously, but like on camera to who people can say it. But I started eating like crazy. Just that's really where my binging started, and I just didn't care. And the guy I was with, he stuck with me. Like I gained weight, he still loved me for me, and I was so grateful for that. But definitely throughout that whole process of like being the basketball player I was, like I said, I identified myself as basketball player. Like I know all these other qualities that I have, but like that's what I was good at, that's what I was passionate about, and you guys know that. And I got hurt. I started gaining all this weight. I had to get a steroid injection that lasted for 4 months. Then I got sick again during those 4 months with swine flu.
Yeah.
Years after it was relevant.
Yeah.
And then
holy shit, swine flu.
yeah. So then that was like
Remember that?
that was
Remember swine flu?
you got it in like 8th grade, and then somehow years later I got it.
Swine flu.
What
a drop of a
Is that the pig virus? Is that the
no, yeah.
That's the pig virus,
Yeah.
isn't it?
what a drop of an ailment from back in the day.
I got mono freshman year.
Holy shit.
She's been through the ringer, dude.
It's awful. So I had mono, and then my injury happened. I got the steroid injection. During that time when I could have been playing, I got sick, and then I was slowly gaining weight. And then senior year came. So obviously, basketball season lasts, 3 months?
Yeah.
What?
Well,
November to
12 months
February?
a year for me.
Give or take.
Well, I played AAU too.
Yeah, I know.
So
yeah.
like even trying to come back to that was like difficult. And I remember mom made fun of me one time because it was my first game back after all of that, and she would laugh at me because I like dribbled the ball off my foot or something. And I remember yelling at her, and I remember mom's inner demon coming out. But we're not going to talk about that.
I feel like you've constantly had battles. You've like
it
when
just
you've
seems like
overcame
it's all
one
been-
thing,
yeah.
Like I don't want to say I'm surprised I'm here because I would never do that, but like going through what I've went through mentally, I'm surprised I'm as good as I can be right now.
you know what? No.
But like So then senior year came. Do you remember first day senior year? I just had surgery on my ankle. So I'm in crutches.
Oh my God.
crying by third period because I'm dripping in sweat. It's August. It's hot as shit. Ryan had no ventilation, no nothing.
That ventilation was terrible.
There was
in there.
nothing.
God
There was
awful.
nothing. So here I am, sweating my ass off, crying. I just want to go home, but obviously I couldn't, and I had like no one to help me with my school bag. So, so then we get like a new coach junior year, going into my junior year, and in my opinion, I thought I was definitely going to be the best player on that team. Like I was fully set on that. Like they're going to tell him she's one of the better players. Obviously, I don't want to say I'm the best one because we had good players on the team, but the way I felt,
But you believed in yourself.
I believed in myself at that point. Like, I still,
You
body
should.
image wise,
You should think you're the best.
Body image.
That's how you succeed.
I know,
Exactly.
but like body image wise, I still wasn't great, but like I knew
Right.
my
talent-
skills with basketball.
talent
Like
was there.
that was the thing I cared about the most. I knew I was good. Like those are the skills that I knew I had. So like I expected to go in and get whatever, but then I gained all the weight. I was hurt. And then the season was over. The binging kept on going. I would just overeat all the time. I just didn't care. I started
Was it like a depression thing that you were using?
extremely. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the only thing.
Yeah.
The food was the only thing that would give me comfort. Like not even like, I don't want to say not my boyfriend at that point, but like just the way I started going downhill after that because I was gaining weight. I wasn't getting playing time. I was depressed because I wasn't playing. And then,
So I feel like you were kind of identifying as like a basketball player, you know, like that was your identity.
that was who I was.
And that's the problem when we put like our identity in one thing,
Right.
because when it gets taken from us,
You feel like you're nothing.
we're not. You don't have anything.
and then you
just
fall
Yeah.
back onto instant gratification.
I did the same thing. You know how me and you were in high school with
Yeah.
basketball. Like
Yeah.
that was fun times,
I
huh?
could sit here all night and tell stories.
How many
but-
times you two fought?
Oh my
Crazy.
God.
Jesus.
But I literally would leave like practices and like lash out. Like if I had a bad practice, I remember
Yeah.
one story I got in Devers. I got to lighten the mood a little
Shout
bit.
out to Dever.
Shout out to Dever.
We're always shouting out that.
God knows what he's up to tonight. But I remember I got into his. I haven't seen him since 2008, but I know I got into his red. What was the make of that car, dude?
The fire truck.
Yeah, the fire truck. But it was
I'll try to find a picture to put in the video.
Put it like right up here.
It was like a box. It was like a box. And dude, I remember I got in his car after a practice. I was all pissed off about the way the practice went. And he's like, Nick, calm down. And I'm in his passenger seat. And I just got the seatbelt and just started ripping at it, dude, like 50 times. Like, don't tell me to calm down. I was going nuts,
Oh
dude.
my
It's
God.
crazy what it can
Yeah.
make when you have your sights set on one thing and it doesn't
Yeah.
work out for you the way you planned it.
Yeah.
It's crazy where it can take you, dude.
Yeah.
I used to leave so mad, bro. Like,
Yeah.
so
Yeah,
I
I
know
know.
I can literally. We're similar in a lot of
Yeah.
ways, you know.
And
Like,
it's and it's amazing that you're even here today. I mean, alive. You know what I'm saying? Just
Yeah.
with things
with all of that you've went through.
and just went through.
Oh, there-
and you went.
there's more.
That's only tip in the iceberg. But
Yeah.
I think something that I'm trying to do is fall in love with delayed gratification. If that makes sense to you, like, you know how like when you're out drinking or you're out eating, like, you know, it's instant gratification. It makes you feel good at that moment, but then you don't feel great about it later. And then, but delayed gratification is putting work in at the gym, maybe taking care of your body. I went to the gym for the first time today. Started, trying to take care of my body. And, it's like that delayed gratification when you fall in love with that process of taking.
That's what I wanted
It's also
to do.
crazy how good, like the endorphins that are released after going to the gym. Like, I went to the gym today too. After you leave the gym, you just feel so, like, I don't know how you felt.
Yeah.
I just felt so much better.
I feel like I did. My day
Like-
was fine.
Like everything just like after that, everything clicked. I literally
Yeah.
went home after that, read some of a book, then legit meditated. Like it put me on an upward.
But you know that feeling?
yeah,
That's
I
what
was in a
got.
zone.
That's what I got from food. That's the feeling that gave me.
Well, guess what? Here's the thing. It can go both ways. It's the same thing with bad choices. You make one bad decision, and that's especially with me, and I just go down. Like, I go spiraling down.
Right.
One good decision can spiral me upward. One bad decision, I go completely down, dude.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Like,
balance.
But I definitely, like, I feel like you don't associate this word with food, but like addicted to food.
yeah.
And that's
Right.
exactly, it sounds so stupid.
That's 100%. No, that's a thing.
No, but
That's a
like,
thing.
I hate admitting that. Like, I'm definitely not as bad, like, binging wise now. Like, I don't binge as much. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to, because I feel so much better about myself and how I've carried myself recently, like how strong I've been with going through what I went through the last, 8 years of my life.
Yeah.
And that was like me growing up. So like, that's all I know. So like, when I say like all I've known were 2 people in my life, that's all I've known. Back to like with the whole like senior year stuff, and I came in with the crutches. I wasn't really like I said, the new coach came in. He never saw me play like to how, like, sophomore year, like how I played.
Yeah.
Like, I gained a lot of weight. I wasn't as fast as I was. I could still shoot the hell out of the ball. And like, I still had the skills, but I just didn't have the endurance or the quickness anymore.
Both of you two always had the jumper.
No, we didn't. That was me.
No,
Don't get
both
twisted.
of you guys always had the three ball.
Uh,
Yeah, but
I don't remember that.
Sorry, go ahead.
we're not gonna get into that conversation.
Go ahead.
I'm just kidding. I remember an AAU game, we were playing against a very good team, very athletic team, and for some reason, I was the one guarding their fastest point guard on the team. I don't know how that happened, but it did, and I did very well. Like, I locked her up, and this was when I was like overweight too. Like, I moved my feet really good. Like, college scouts were watching, and I got in like a tie up with the one girl. I threw her on the ground, and then she dragged me with her. And then the one girl came in and punched me right in the nose. She dove in and punched me. Pop Nichols and CJ were at the game.
That's crazy.
CJ did not want to come watch my games after that.
She was scarred.
But she got in my face after. I'm like, no, there's college coaches here. I'm not going to do that. She dove on the ground to punch me in the nose.
That's amazing.
I didn't feel anything. It was
It's the
kind
one
of
game.
funny.
It's the one game I wish I saw.
But then I stood up and she got in my face and I just like pushed her away. I'm like thinking, there's college scouts here. Why would I even,
Right.
like, whatever. So then I go to sit down because obviously I had to get taken out because I was frustrated. The ref comes up to me. You know what he says?
What?
He goes, "You move really good for your size."
Jesus
I
Christ,
cried,
dude.
and the ref said, because I'm crying, he's like, "What did I say?" He's like, "Dude, you don't say that."
Yeah.
So like, I've had people like say shit like that to me.
Yeah.
And it's just like, how is that
Grown adults
a
too.
grown ass
like,
man? So
yeah.
it's like,
Yeah.
I mean, it's a compliment, but like, it's like a backhanded compliment.
I mean, yeah.
But like, it's just like, it's crazy,
I mean,
isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, listen. The way you
This is crazy.
should look at it is that you have a lot of people to prove wrong. You know, and it's you got
Yeah.
and you also got to prove yourself right, because you know at the end of the day who you are. You're one of the most loving, sweet girls I've ever met. You're a gentle, you're a gentle person. You don't want to hurt anybody. You're not out there to hurt anybody. Like, you're just trying to be the best version of yourself. And like, and I know you deal with your inner struggles and inner demons. We all do, but I know you're turning your negatives into positives.
I'm trying,
You know,
I'm getting there.
And it also starts with speaking on this podcast today, talking about it. Opening up and letting.
I've never opened up, obviously on camera, but like even to you, I feel like I've
not
never
even
opened
looking
up
at the
this much.
cameras. The cameras don't matter. It's me, you, and Nick. You know.
Yeah.
Cameras aren't even here in my head right now.
I don't see any.
I'm up here on a Thursday night in the loft speaking. That's
Yeah.
all this is.
Speaking your
Yeah,
truth.
but I think that's really when like the depression started getting bad.
Yeah.
To not caring about myself.
Hmm.
I'm like, I have someone who loves me for who I am unconditionally.
Yeah.
So like, I have family who loves me unconditionally.
Right.
And when your mental health goes down, that's like shit goes down. And then that's when all the body image issues started happening, because 2 years ago, I was looking like that, like looking like this, to now looking at where I was.
So you brought up that you went through some depression after all of that. If you don't mind, what because I feel like people listening, everyone's depressed. Everyone's maybe been some sort of form of depressed at one time in their life.
Yeah.
Explain maybe some of the things you may have went through and some of the things you may have overcome during your depression?
Just a lot of it was just, I mean, I bet all these other girls can relate, and even some guys, like wanting the attention of other people. And a lot of it is body image issues with me. Like I said, being one size and now being another. But this is like a whole like body dysmorphia thing. Like you feel different than how you look. So like I said earlier, like when we went out on Saturday with just the four of us, I thought I looked like I felt good in my outfit until I looked at myself. Until I went and looked in the mirror and I'm just like, oh my God, I look like that. Or like if we're going out or even just being with family, like I even compare myself to my younger cousins and like their figures. It's not like, it's just, it sucks because it's like, I know how good of a person I am. Like no one can tell me I'm a shitty person because you don't know me if you think that. I know I don't deserve to feel that way. Like, I think that's come to now, me realizing that. But like back in high school and the last 4 years, I never thought that about myself. I just thought I felt like crap. I didn't feel worth it. And like me feeling like I'm back in high school in that body. Like, I don't feel like I'm not even gonna say that, but like, just feeling skinnier and just feeling better. And that's when, like, I always say sophomore year was my prime. Like, looks wise, like basketball wise. Like, I'll say that to anyone. Like, my friend Karen, she knows all about that. We talk about it all the time. Like, I always tell her that was my prime. I want to go back to that. And
do you ever, because I feel like, you know, I know it's a very tough thing, but you ever like think of all the contributions you bring, like, because looks is just like, you know,
it's skin deep.
Looks are that's very superficial, you know. It's just like,
it's not a way to look at life. It's not a way to look at.
But when you're,
but at the same time, I definitely 100% understand it because, you know,
you want to look good.
100%,
but like,
I understand.
But that's the first thing people notice about you.
But there's so many. My point is, first of all, I don't agree with your, you know, doubts about your looks, but there's so many other things too that you can bring, you know.
Yeah,
it's not just about that.
Yeah,
you know.
Well, no, but when you have grown up the way I did, always being judged by my looks, like I told you what my one coach said and what the ref said, and there's probably plenty more that I don't even remember. It's probably happened way too often. Just like people look at you and they judge you. That's how I always felt. Like, I know that's not always true, but if you take take a walk in my shoes, like, you wouldn't believe the thoughts that go through my head on a daily basis. Even growing up all those years, just like always being concerned about how I looked because I don't want people judging me, even though they're probably not. Like, even like I probably since sophomore year, I suck my stomach in all the time. That's like, I don't even do it on purpose anymore. Like, that's how, like, it's like breathing to me all the time. Like, even right now I'm sitting here, I'm doing that.
It's insane.
Like, that's why I didn't want to be like anywhere like in frame where you can see, because I'm embarrassed. And like, even like,
I think I'll say this, I think you're beautiful, and especially on the inside. And like, as your brother, like, I know I'm your brother, but I'll say it time and again, like, I'm a big potential person, and I see what potential in people, and the amount you're able to give to the world is so immense. Like, when you're at the daycare or we're working at a basketball camp, all the little kids, for some reason, I'm like the no-show, and no one wants to talk to me, but like, everyone's just all around Haley. You know what I'm saying? Everyone wants to be around Haley. Everyone's hanging on Haley. I don't know what it is, but I think that's a trait that most people have that you may see who are, you know, quote unquote beautiful or whatever. Like, I think you're beautiful you're beautiful outside, inside, all of it. And there's going to be somebody that really appreciates that. And, you know, you have a thing that a lot of people don't have, is that you're so gentle and you're so caring, and you're, you know what I'm saying? You're able to make anyone in the room or anybody ever. How many I've seen you at with some of my parties at Temple trying to talk to people who are crying and sad for no reason. You're just there. You're always there for people, and that's a trait you need to hang on to, because there's about 95% of the people in this world that do not have what you have. So if there's anything you can take from this conversation, it's that you are beautiful outside and inside. And like I'm lucky and honored to have you as my sister, because I've learned from you what it's like to go through it and what it's like to come out of it. Too, you know what I mean? So just know I'm very proud of you, and you know, and I know you're talking about these things now. We'll get back into it, but just know that I want you to know that, just, you know, from me to you.
You need to stop, you know, in your head you have this picture of all the things you don't have. You need to start thinking about everything you do have. All the things you do bring to the table
and offer
and contribute. And like Kev said, the right person's going to come along and see all the things you offer and how much of a beautiful person you are, and they're going to love you for that. You know, that's going to be what makes you shine.
And before I get off my rant, you know what? Something I realized too is that what you have is you're born with. Yeah, you can work your ass off and change your body to the way you want it to. That happens in here, and that happens with you. You know what I'm saying? But you also have to realize too, like, you know, what you have, that gentleness, that compassion for other people, that giving to other people, like that's
such a gift.
You're born with that. Yeah, and you need to hone that, and you need to understand that you can give. You have a lot to offer to this world. And anybody who says otherwise, you know, fuck them. Excuse my language, but fuck them. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have so much to offer, and just understand that what you have is so special, and you're born with it. That's the biggest thing, is that you're born with it. Yeah, just know that it's all going to be okay. Everything at the end of the day is going to be okay, and I'll help you through it. Whatever you need. You're home now. You know, I have you around me all the time now. You know what I mean? Like, maybe we can start.
I'm very close.
Yeah, and you know, maybe we can start. You know, we can even start talking about this now. Like, maybe just ways to take care of your body, and you know, because once you fix the outside in a way you want and the way you feel confident, everything else is just gonna be, you know, easy going.
Yeah, I know. That's just definitely the hardest thing, is the whole mental aspect of it all. Just like the comments that you two were saying, it's just like, it sucks because I don't believe it.
Right.
Like, as passionate as you are about it.
And I know you don't.
I can't, like...
And no one's going to make you until you do. That's the other thing.
That's the hardest part, too.
It's all going to be an internal process. It's going to be you against you.
It's like, I really want to see it, but I can't.
Yeah, it's just it's putting in the work.
Yeah, you're going to have to put in the work to you know, be proud of who you see, you know, and that's not just who you see on the outside, but I mean, I'm sure you're already proud of who you see on the inside. Everyone's got different, everyone's got different aspects. Like me right now, I'm not, like, I look in the mirror and I don't like a lot of times who I am on the inside. I'm like, you know, you can be so much better than this. I tell myself, like, so everybody I feel like has different, like, little things that they look at. Yeah. But the same thing with you, with me, no one's coming to help us. No one's going to come and fix it for us.
They can't do it.
You know what I mean? You got to do it, and I got to do it. We got to be the ones who, at the end of the day, can one day look in that mirror and be like, man, I'm proud of what I see right now. You know, whether it's in or out, whatever.
Take that first step towards the delayed gratification.
All that. My like binging and stuff like that, a lot of when I would have like episodes, it could be a couple times a day. I used to just go and, like, I used to be so impulsive. I would just see like a McDonald's or anything, and I would just go and just whatever. And
in that moment, you probably felt so good,
but
right?
then right after, guilt.
Exactly.
Guilt just came over me, and I'm like, why the hell am I doing this?
Right.
Like, what's the point? I hate doing it, but something in my brain, I just get so triggered, and I just go. And like, that's what I would talk to my therapist a lot about. Like, I can't help these impulses, but she's like, no, you can. Like, you make that conscious decision to do that. You make the conscious decision to black out. Yeah. You make a conscious decision to do whatever addiction you're going through. Exactly. Like, it's all starts with that decision. Like, it pops up in your brain.
Choices.
Exactly.
Choices.
It pops up in your brain. You go and do it because you know how it's going to make you feel. Right. That comfort is what, like, literally, that's what comes over me. Like, but it's not even a second thought. Like, now it is. Like, I completely hold myself back now, but it's like, you don't.
Yeah, and
everyone's addicted to different, like, like in your case, you're using food, Other people's cases, they feel bad about themselves, they go get blacked out. Other person's case, they feel really bad about themselves, they go, they go do drugs. They just want to feel numb.
Yeah.
Everyone uses different things. It's
Yeah.
it's just becoming healthier, I guess, with it.
Yeah, and you just got the biggest thing that I've been learning is you need to learn to start making yourself uncomfortable. Put yourself into uncomfortable situations to adapt.
Yeah.
Because when you're in comfort, you're not growing from it at all.
I definitely lack willpower. Well, I
You-
did.
No, you don't. No, just say
Like the will, like
There's
wanting
been
to
times like Carolyn, our
Yeah,
friend Carolyn,
sure.
taught us the way you got to adjust your words. There's been times where I've lacked willpower, but you don't lack.
You
it.
don't say you lack willpower. That you felt like you've.
I
just,
felt like I felt like I did. But then when I went to my therapist, like everything she said always stuck with me. Everything anyone tells me that strikes something in my heart sticks with me for
what's something
years.
that struck your heart?
She said just like you have the ability to make those choices, like the whole self-sabotaging thing. Like I'm doing this to myself because I don't care about myself. I don't feel like I'm worth it. I don't see anything in me that anyone else sees, but a lot of it is how I feel about my body. I don't like the body that I'm in. I feel like I'm this thinner version of myself where I want to be,
Right.
the healthier person I want to be. I feel trapped.
Right.
I don't feel like I look like this. So that's why when I look in mirrors or I see pictures of myself, I don't think I look like that. And that's what gets me upset. Like I feel more beautiful, more confident than what I see in pictures. And it's hard. It's a hard life like that. Like I don't want to look in a mirror. Like even my own, like my Zoom classes online, I can never have the camera on because I don't want to look at myself. Like when I drive, I can't even look in my side mirrors because I don't want to look. And like everyone would tell me how pretty I look one day or whatever, and I just don't believe it. And that's the hardest part is I know how good of a person I am, and all these qualities you two are saying. Like I know that you don't gotta tell me. Like I'm very self-aware of myself and how I am, but it's all about the looks for me. That's just how I've always been judged growing up as a kid. That's always how I compare myself to you. It's always been looks. And that's why I seek validation from other guys and like other people, because I'm hoping someone can make me realize that. But like you guys said, that just comes from me. But I just don't think I'm slowly getting there by making the choices that I've made recently, like to not binge, to cut toxic people, toxic relationships, even friendships out, or like not surrounding myself with good people, like, or staying out of drama wherever. Like a lot of those decisions I've made have really been helping me. Like I'm glowing, and I know I'm glowing like I never have before, but like I still suffer from body image issues. I still suffer from anxiety and depression, and I'm not taking my meds like I should be. I don't binge as often anymore because I do have that willpower that I thought I didn't have. I have that, and I know I deserve better than that. I know what I'm worth, but it's all for me about looks, and it's something that's going to take me. It took years to get on that, and it's going to take me a long ass time to get off. But that's the hardest part for me.
Yeah.
It's crazy because I literally never knew any of this about you. You know,
I've been
whenever I look at you, I don't see that. I
don't-
don't see it. I don't see any of that in you.
Yeah.
And I don't look at you and think any of that either. You know, I don't. I think, a lot of times we think people are looking at us in ways that they're really not. You know, I think people see you for you. I really do. I think people see you for you.
Yeah.
You know, there's so much to you as a person. Like I was saying earlier, you have so much to give.
Right.
You have so much to give. You know?
What does Grandma always say? When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change.
Don't hit us with that. Right?
Haley knows. How many
all the
times?
time.
You know, and
I think you've used that in every episode.
I'm on a streak. Haley, I am on a hot streak.
You definitely are.
You know, but just know that the fact that you're even acknowledging it is huge.
That's definitely been the biggest part of like
It's the first step.
Yeah.
transforming
It's a beautiful
everything.
thing. You know what?
That's been the hardest part is acknowledging all of that. Like, it's so hard for me to talk about to people.
Right.
That's the side of myself I don't like admitting.
Right.
Like I was telling you earlier, like I know I'm a bigger person. I've accepted that at this point, but like I don't like saying that about myself because I don't want to admit it. I acknowledge it, but I don't like admitting it. It just makes me feel so crappy and like.
What's saying that? Saying what?
I'm a bigger person.
Oh,
like I'm not thin. I'm not what you see all these other girls going out. Like that's a big thing too. Like going out and seeing all these other girls. It's like I wish I looked like that.
Well,
but like,
you're looking at them thinking that, but I guarantee you, there's a lot of stuff you have that they don't.
Yeah,
that could be true. But
I'll
that's
tell
not
you
what I'm
that.
thinking
I'll
about,
tell
you
you. I know that, but I'll tell you that 100%.
Yeah.
There's a lot of girls out there that might have the perfect figure, whatever. But they don't have half the stuff you have. They don't have any of the stuff you have.
They don't have that ability to captivate a person into to allowing somebody to open up. You have that power to let people open up. You know what I mean? And it's
I'm just so happy you came on here and said these things because, like Kev always says in the post,
let's encourage the conversation.
Let's encourage it. It's okay. Like that's going to be a big step for you. I feel to a step to change that dialogue with yourself. Is coming on and actually opening up about it.
Yeah, and I hope
admitting it has been.
And I hope people can comment and reach out. I know, even me personally, from just listening to you, like you're my sister, and like I've known these things, but I've never truly felt them the way I did tonight. And I hope people reach out to you and just let you know that, because this is one of the strongest things you can do is being vulnerable. You know what I mean?
There's something to it.
Yeah.
There's something to talking. Ever since we started doing this podcast, I've realized that there's something, and I know you have a couple times, and I have too. People have come up to us and like thanked us for doing it or whatever, but they always have said like, yeah, I've just never, I've never wanted to talk about it, about my own problems, or I've never felt like talking about it. But I really believe that, if you don't talk about it, until you face it, it's not going to go away unless you face it. That's one thing that's the truth. Like, you can hide from something and you can act like it doesn't bother you, or you can act like it's not there, but it's every day you get up, it's still going to be right there in your face haunting you. You got to face it, man. And then that's so brave of you that you're doing that.
I mean, I'm not going to lie. This hurt a lot, just hearing it and seeing it on your face, because it's like, I want to take all that pain away from you. And knowing that I can't right now is one of the hardest things. But the way I'm trying to tell myself right now is that there's you can do it. And I know you can do it, whether you say it or not. It's like, just like the way you know who you are as a person. I think that's the biggest thing. You know exactly who you are as a person, and you will never let anyone take that away from you. But but you start working on yourself, and maybe you start inspiring other people along the way. I know you started a fitness Instagram a while ago.
I remember I used to talk about wanting to start like a YouTube channel about it, but like
it's hard. It's hard.
Being vulnerable like that. Like, I applaud everyone who's come on this show and this podcast.
Thank you for the proper. Well, you know what? Let's leave it at show, because this sometimes is a show.
I'm not taking that out.
So I've applauded everyone who's been on this podcast or show, whatever you two want to call it.
Yeah.
Like you have to be very vulnerable to tell your story, and to not feel like people are going to judge you, because that's my biggest fear, is feeling judged. Like, how many people are going to watch this who've known me as a kid and like made fun of me as a kid, and like there's some sick ass people.
Guess what,
like,
Hale?
But they don't matter.
Guess what?
But
the people who mind don't matter, and the people who matter don't mind. You have to just surround yourself with the people that brighten your life up. Your family.
Bring out the best in you.
Your family who loves you to death. Your family who would do anything for you. Your brother sitting right there. Your parents downstairs. Like, that's what matters in life. That's all that matters.
And
that's all that matters.
You're a human being. And that says more about those people that have had anything to say to you. Like, you are a human being, and a beautiful one at that, inside and outside. And I don't even want to give them any more energy anymore. But
Thank you, buddy.
yeah, I'm not trying to give that.
Don't even give it. Don't even give it.
I'm not gonna do that. You have any advice for people? Yeah.
I think, like I was talking about everyone who came on here, just the vulnerability and the bravery that takes to talk about. That's probably their biggest life struggle, because I've watched a few of them, and I know Jed, like I've met him like once. I know you two were collabing and stuff together, and
Travis,
yeah, just like even was it Caroline, like her cousin reached out to me because I worked with her cousin, and she's like, do you know this guy? I'm like, yeah, that's my brother and like his best friend. And she's like, oh my God, that's my cousin. I said,
that's so weird.
I said, she's very brave for coming on and saying like, some people don't like talking, like Nick said, people don't want to talk about that stuff, but it's like being vulnerable and admitting to it and acknowledging it is definitely a great first step. Like I never thought I would come up here and say this stuff.
Do you have any advice for people who may go through whatever you go through, with in terms of your addiction and, your depression, your body image, and what you feel mentally? Do you have any advice for people who are watching?
I think just getting help is a really big thing, because I think a lot of people like to hide it. I mean, I've hid it from a lot of people, but once I started going to therapy and trying to get help, things have definitely gotten a lot better. I think surrounding yourself with good people who love you for you and know the value you bring, just who can uplift you. Like I was crying and you guys like just were lifting me up, like just surrounding yourself with people like that. Yeah. And just ask people for help and just acknowledging that's the first step, I think.
Right, and we can end off on this, but I just want to say thank you so much for sitting here and giving us your time. It means so much to me. And
you
Nick,
know I do anything for you, bro.
Thank you so much.
I know, sis.
Thank you for coming.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Love you.
I'm gonna come around and give you a hug, but
you deserve a hug.
So by the time you guys see this Friday, my new song "Free" comes out. Peep, we got it. We got some merch coming out. Proceeds are going towards the National Alliance of Mental Illness. All the proceeds when the website drops and the clothing line drops. We're out here changing the world, and Haley's gonna change it with us.
Let's keep talking.
Yeah.
Like I said at the start, I'm back like I left something.
Yeah.
And I'll be back again.
Yeah. But Haley, I hope you can truly turn your struggles, because you have a story. You have a story now, and I hope you can turn that into positive, and I hope you can be the outlet and the inspiration that a lot of people are looking for, because I know you can.
And I hope people reach out to you too. If anyone's struggling with it, reach out to Haley.
Reach out to
she can be of assistance.
She'll be, her Instagram will be linked in the description.
People need to start connecting. Everyone who's going through the same things, everyone needs to start talking about it.
Yeah. Haley, I fucking love you so much. You're my best friend. You're, besides Nick, sorry, but Haley, you're my best friend.
I love her too.
I love you so much. You're one of the strongest people I know, and seeing everything you went through and just hearing you talk about it killed me. But I know it's going to be better at the end of the day. I know you're going to get through it. I know you're going to be able to love yourself fully. You're going to find someone who loves you, like I said in the song. But
there's light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah, there is. And
you'll come out of it.
I'm going to come around and give you a hug.
We'll help you. We'll help you come out of it.
Absolutely. And so I'm going to come around and give you a big hug. This is episode 9 of The Loft. I'm Kevin Nichols. That's my sister, Haley. That's Nikki Huser. I'm back
like I left something. I'm back like I left something.
You know what? This is episode 9 of The Loft. I'm Kev. That's Haley. That's Nick. And like I said, my song comes out this Friday called Free. I hope you guys listen, enjoy it. Music video drops. The clothing line drops.
Merch link in bio.
I wrote it for my sister. I hope people can resonate with it. It's all about being free mentally, and you're not free until you love yourself. So on that note, this is episode 9 of The Loft. What do you have to say?
Devers' red automobile will be in this video at some point. I promise you a picture of it will surface. We will find one.
I'm going to crop Devers' red fire truck into this episode. But guys, this is episode 9. I love you guys so much, and peace.
See ya.